Extremely. Every 4 years on November the 4th, the most important day for all Americans rolls around, which is Election Day. However, the votes of only 538 people really count in determining the next president. In the last 3 presidential elections, there's been so much talk about how elections work, how important it is to do your civic duty and vote, but simply voting may not be enough anymore. The Electoral College has helped to shape the outcome of many different presidential elections throughout our history. However, there are so many ways the Electoral College is taking away the power from the people they are supposed to be representing during elections. As somebody who grew up with parents who took us to vote with them during every election from a very young age, I learned about the importance of voting and how the voting system works. Additionally, I've always had a love for everything about elections and politics. I even want to become a public official one day, so I have a thorough understanding of elections and the role they play in shaping the society we live in. First, there are the same number of Electoral College voters in your state as House of Representative members, which creates an advantage for some states over others. The Electoral College is putting more weight on select states and giving them more power during elections. According to NPR, each state gets electors based on its representation in the House and the Senate, which means smaller states get extra votes, which means smaller states are usually more red-leaning, hold more weight during the elections. Additionally, during the 2020 election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, the election was riding on 45,000 votes from 3 random states towards the end, which shows the vulnerability of our republic. With an uneven distribution of power given to states by the Electoral College, it is allowing states with more Republican states to push voter suppression laws without any checks and balances in place. In Republican states like Georgia and Texas, they have laws in place to fire people who they do not believe are representing their state in the district they are supposed to be representing well enough. This is harmful because how do you know that this isn't what the people want? This is creating an unequal power dynamic because the head officials get to decide whether or not they're representing. So if they feel as though the Electoral College person is voting blue, then they can just fire them and pick somebody they know are going to pick maybe a Republican-leaning voter. With all the weight being on select states during voting, it is causing officials to only focus on those areas and neglecting other voters. This is a major issue because it causes a serious disconnect between the public officials that we have, like the president, and people. If you never get to see the person and their values and see that they actually have an interest in the community you live in, it's hard to connect and feel like that person is truly representing you the way you want them to. While creating unequal power dynamics between states and the Electoral College is also allowing people's voting for their district to change people's votes. If the person that was put into place to represent the people in their district does not believe the person the people voted for, they have the full power in them to change the vote. This is a serious issue because people are altering the people's votes. The problem is that it's happened twice since 2000. The person with the most votes didn't win. Between 2000 and 2016, and it's always Republican candidates that this happens to. This is leading a major disconnect because it leaves people wondering, how does my vote really not matter in the elections when we're told that your vote is the most powerful voice that you can have? And it's crazy that it's happened twice. Like it's weird. Additionally, some states have taken action to put in place laws to allow a winner to take all the votes in the state. With the winner-takes-all approach, it minimizes the voice of other people throughout the states, red or blue. It doesn't matter. Your vote does count. And it takes away the fact that, additionally, there are no laws or amendments in place to people to make sure these people are actually representing them. Only 33 states out of 50 have laws in place to ensure that the Electoral College cannot change votes in their districts. This means the other 17 states have free range to do whatever they want, to maybe feed into their own agenda. Maybe they're being paid off by other people. finally, you do not get to vote, know the person that's voting for you. And that's scary because you get to know the person that's voting for you or that's representing you at any other point. Why should we not be able to vote and pick the person that we want to? However, there are more laws are being put into place. Like, thankfully, there's a Supreme Court ruling that is starting to enact change with the way the Electoral College is run. With Shiflin v. Washington, the Supreme Court unanimously held that states may penalize electors who fail to cast their ballots for the presidential ticket that didn't win the state's popular vote. Which is a great thing that's happening, because there's no way that people should be able to switch votes for their own personal agenda, even if I may agree with that, because that's not right. Everybody's voice matters, and everybody should get a chance to be represented in the election. Overall, the Electoral College has helped shape the way we have viewed elections and how much they have changed since they were put into place at the beginning of this country. However, the power needs to be back in the hands of the people and would be done best by abolishing the Electoral College.